We've got the Lexus IS 300.
Old dependable. All right.
Ready, Zach? Here we go.
Just so you know, the roads are wet. It's above the freezing mark now.
Sound.
The snow is going to be gone, Andrew. You're going to miss it?
I'm not going to miss the snow. I can't wait for it to disappear.
All right. What's under the hood of this thing? One engine disappeared in Canada.
A 3.5-liter V6 with a 6-speed automatic transmission, 260 horsepower and 237 pound-feet of torque, standard all-wheel drive, and you have to put premium fuel in this IS.
In Canada, they have dropped the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder rear-wheel drive model with 241 horsepower, but that engine is still available in the United States. So this got a facelift a couple of years ago, but they carried over a lot of the technology, so we're going to get into it. What do you get with the Lexus IS?
The base trim comes with a multi-information display, an 8-inch touchscreen, wired Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a 10-speaker audio system, 8-way power front seats, NuLuxe upholstery, heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, a moonroof, smart key and push-button start, Lexus Safety System 2.5. In the U.S., a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated front seats, and a moonroof are not standard but available in a package.
Our favorite, Andrew, is still a trackpad. What are we going to put it in?
Got to put it in S for subscribing. If you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes and to get a question in. More about that halfway through the video. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Well, last year we had the IS 500, the higher performance V8 powered IS.
Yeah.
And Andrea and I, we liked it. We didn't love it.
No.
Now we've got the less powerful entry level engine for the Canadian market anyway. I like this one a lot more.
I like this one a lot more. Some people are saying, you know, the 6-speed automatic transmission, is it enough? Yeah, it's enough in this model. It shifts quickly, it's smooth. I like the V6 smooth engine. It is just terrific to drive. A real blend of sportiness, performance, and comfort. You won't feel like this beats you up as a daily driver.
So this is what I call sort of old school meets new school. It's got the old analog, naturally aspirated V6. It's got a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's all how it's calibrated together, though, that makes it a more rewarding everyday car. The IS 500 with the 8-speed, it was calibrated to go to the highest gear possible to affect fuel economy and was slow to downshift. This is the opposite. This is quick to downshift. It makes it more satisfying for everyday situations.
And I really like the steering in here. You put it in sport mode, it gets a little bit heavier, just the way I like it. It is surprising for a Lexus, which gives it a little bit of a sportier feel. Now, the 350 model, which has this same powertrain, but more power, more horsepower, more torque than this model, is the one that gets the adaptive variable suspension, but I'm not sure I'm missing it in this model.
No, I think with this F-Sport package, the suspension is just the right amount of tautness. The one thing is the platform is very good, and when they did that facelift a couple of years ago, that was the main focus on the suspension and the handling, and they made some nice refinements there, slight tweaks to the outside. They didn't really touch the inside. More on that in a moment, but I would say just the platform itself is very capable.
Now, when you kick this thing, it goes.
All right.
What a nice sound too, right?
On the dash, it shows you what gear you're in. You went from 5th to 2nd gear like that. It dropped 3 gears in a nanosecond.
So
transmission is not an issue with this car. All right, let's get into the looks of this thing, because I think it's got a timeless elegance to it. It's a nice looking car. It has a look that people recognize.
Well, it's really held up over the years. It has an athletic look to it with its low, wide stance. Even the silhouette, you know, it just really looks quite nice. Very sporty looking, in my opinion. I don't think that Lexus needs to do much with the exterior design. It's well done. This comes with 5.5 inches of ground clearance and has a drag coefficient of 0.29. You get standard LED headlights, LED taillights, 18-inch wheels, and a temporary spare tire. We've got the F Sport model, so it ups the sportiness a bit. You've got the premium LED triple beam headlamps, an integrated rear spoiler, 19-inch F Sport wheels, and larger tires on this model.
So the inside was not really touched when they did that facelift a couple of years ago. They focused on suspension and a little styling. On the inside, they carried it forward, and this is the real shortfall of this car, and also good for shorter people in the back seat. We'll show you that in a second. The technology is old Lexus. It's not the new Lexus. It has a trackpad to integrate into the screen, and that really is the biggest reason why we might not buy this car.
Now, you can use this as a touchscreen, but take a look at how far I have to reach. It's not the best when you're driving.
Oh, poor Andrea. That far away.
I have to reach. So that's why I've been using the glitchy trackpad, which I don't love.
No, it's not good.
No,
it's not a good trackpad.
It's not a good trackpad. So every time I become frustrated, you know what I hit? The menu.
Yeah.
And I just start over again. And I say, Andrea, just calm down. Hit the menu, start again.
If you live with this every day, you would have everything set up as your favorites.
Yeah.
All your favorite radio stations, all your favorite whatever you're using would all be on there. And you could plug in and use it for Apple and Android. So materials in here really are first rate. You like the red?
I do like the red. I like it. I
right.
think Lexus does a good red.
And the seats are very comfortable. I would definitely say this feels premium.
Well, this really cradles your body. I can't believe how comfortable the seats are. And for me, getting in and out of this vehicle is fairly easy. I don't feel like it sits too low to the ground. Much better than the Genesis G70. Zach disagrees with that.
Yeah, well, it is a low-slung car. Just know that.
Yeah.
It's not an SUV. It's a sporty car, so you do sit lower. Getting in and out is a bit trickier. What else did you want to add, Andrea?
Well, I just want to add that the steering wheel is not heated all the way around. We see the new Lexus models with the full heated steering wheel. This comes standard with an 8-inch touchscreen with wired Apple Carplay and Android Auto. We've got the upgraded 10.3-inch touchscreen. And I think this NuLuxe material is quite nice. It's a leatherette, but it actually is hard to tell if it's leather or not.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Now, there's lots of different trims to choose from, different budgets, of course. If you're not interested in going with the F Sport models because you don't want the F Sport enhancements, you can go without.
Available features on the Lexus IS include driver's seat memory, intuitive park assist with auto braking, memory mirrors, the LFA-inspired instrument cluster, and driver lumbar support. In Canada, there are features you can only get on the top two trims. They include the Mark Levinson sound system, a panoramic view monitor. In the United States, you can add packages to get these features. Compared to its main rivals, the back seat of the Lexus IS is tight. You can see me getting in. I would say it's comfortable, but there is not a lot of legroom or headroom.
Comparing the IS to the Genesis G70, the IS offers 44.8 inches of front row legroom, which is 2 inches more than the G70. Second row legroom at 32.2 inches is just over 2.5 inches less than the Genesis.
And this is a sedan, so you got a conventional trunk. How does it stack up?
Trunk space comes in at 10.8 cubic feet, which is about the same as the G70.
All right, let's get into your questions.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Which one will you guys recommend? The Lexus IS 300 all-wheel drive or the NX all-wheel drive for a second car with our 2022 Honda Pilot?
Well, that's doubling down on the SUV. If you want to have an SUV and an SUV, well, it's pretty obvious. You have to do a gut check. What do you really want? This would be a great second car, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I already know what my pick would be. First off, I just want to say the NX is a smaller SUV. So you've got a big Pilot. Do you really need another SUV? That's what I say. For me, if I have two cars, this is the one I'm going for. It's just fun. It's fun and it's sporty and it's a great daily driver.
You buy it and you forget about it. You just take it in for maintenance. That's it.
You guys are just amazing. Thank you. Should one opt out for the 350 or stick with the 300? Can you feel the extra power? I'd love to know your opinion on the IS 500. I'm considering the IS 500 and the BMW M550 as my next vehicle. Doesn't sound like he's got much of a budget. like he's got a good budget.
He's got no budget problems,
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
exactly.
Listen, nothing is going to compare to the BMW. Like that is
No.
that's a whole other league. We were not blown away by the IS 500. We thought the IS 500 was, we talked about it already when we were driving. The 8-speed automatic didn't make it better. This works really well. And I would be quite happy with the 300 over the 350. I think this car is just the sweet spot for price and for drivability.
The way I look at it is that it's hard to find a V6 that is priced this well. This has got a great starting price. In Canada, there is a $10,000 difference between the 300 and the 350 starting price. So that's a substantial difference. In the US, not so much. So you might say, I'm going to make the stretch to the 350. I don't think it's necessary.
Nope.
Sure, it has more power, but the value that this 300 offers with a V6, you will be hard pressed to find that in the luxury category. You're going to pay more of it. So this is like a budget-friendly V6, and the power is sufficient.
Yeah, the other one would be the Genesis G70 with the 3.3T. That's a turbocharged engine. This is naturally aspirated. It's bulletproof, and that's one of the major selling features.
Well, that interior looks so outdated. Plus, the low engine output make this car not worth the price. I disagree.
This is not perfect, but as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a throwback to the way cars were made.
Yeah.
And it's one of those get it while you can with the naturally aspirated engine, with the 6-speed automatic transmission. It's kind of like an analog car.
Yeah.
The trackpad is the only hiccup.
Look, it doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto like we see with the new Lexus models. It still has this trackpad. It doesn't have a wireless charger. I agree with you that there are parts of this that are outdated. However, the interior is still quite upscale.
Very well put together.
The materials are really
excellent.
nice. Of course, this is the top trim, but it's still priced really well for a V6.
So in the armrest here is where you have the plug for your phone. So you could plug in a wireless dongle and make this a wireless Android and Apple for about $60 on Amazon. We just did that with one of our cars, and it's going to be hidden in there. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Is this version of the IS still worth it to buy so late into the cycle for the generation? It would seem like it's due for a redesign. Maybe hybrid powertrain is an option. For me, an upgraded engine plus a refreshed interior is all it needs, as the exterior is still outstanding.
Well, Andrea is going to touch on what might go in this, maybe the Hybrid Max system, but I think this is the perfect car for somebody that doesn't like all the new tech engines, like turbo 4-cylinder engines. You're not into that? This is the engine you might want. You don't want to have something that's overly complicated. 6-speed automatic transmission is just a good, well-made car.
And also all of the buttons that are in the interior, knobs and buttons. We see so many manufacturers doing things inside the screen
they still
now.
have a trackpad, though.
That is old school business right here, if that's what you love. Oh, I would love to see the Hybrid Max powertrain in this model. What a terrific powertrain. I think that it would be so good in this model. Hey, another thing about buying an older version like this is the reliability. JD Power gives this model an overall score of 87 out of 100. I mean, that's a really tough one to beat. So you get this as your daily driver. You know it's going to be reliable. You're going to have some good fun with it.
All right, let's get into all the vital stats about the IS 300.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. The base model starts at just over $50,500, and the top trim is just under $61,000. In the US, the base rear-wheel drive model starts at just over $41,000, and the all-wheel drive model just over $43,000.
Here's the fuel economy for the Lexus IS 300, 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9 liters on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city, 26 miles per gallon highway. Lexus offers a warranty of 4 years, 80,000 kilometers or 50,000 miles. In the United States, complimentary maintenance is covered for 1 year or 10,000 miles. You want a luxury compact car. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Genesis G70 with a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 300 horsepower, and a starting price just over $53,000.
The BMW 330 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 255 horsepower, and a starting price of $60,000.
The Mercedes-Benz C-Class with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 255 horsepower, and a starting price around $60,000.
The Audi A4 with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 261 horsepower, and a starting price of $55,000.
So there are 4 luxury sedans for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
Really like this as a daily driver.
I love it has a naturally aspirated V6.
This trackpad, this business right here, it's got to go.
I'm with Andrew on that. All right, we got to go. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.